Hello and welcome to Billy Ho Sports. I'm a horse racing content creator specializing in the Kentucky Derby and Triple Crown series. I also cover major stakes races like the one I'm previewing today is going to be the Grade 2 Clark Handicap at my home course of Churchill Downs. So it's run this Friday, Black Friday. So maybe we can find that bargain priced horse for you today. Also, remember to track all the 2024 Kentucky Derby Trail horses and races and whatnot with me here at Billy Ho Sports. Thanks so much for joining. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Give us that like and the question of the day, I guess, in the comment section. Let me know which one of these horses that you might favor in this intriguing race this week that's not named First Mission. So let's go. That's where we're going to start. Brad Cox's First Mission enters the Clark Handicap on a 3-race win streak, including his Grade 3 win in the Stone Street Lexington Stakes back in April. He was slated to run in the Preakness Stakes, but had to be removed from competition due to a left hind issue that they just couldn't figure out. The vets on the grounds at Pimlico, so they pulled him. Fast forward 6 months later to October 14th, back at Keeneland for this win, where he overcame being blocked in behind rivals entering the lane, and then 3 wide. Then he tipped out 5 wide, and he rallies down the stretch to get the win by a head. Was a nice patient effort. He didn't get the best speed figure because a little slower pace, but it was still a good setup for this next race. Obviously, I think he will be a substantial morning line favorite, and deservedly so. So the same format as my previous video. I started with Brad Cox and then went right into Dale Romans. So we'll follow that same format and roll 1-2. Next up, Dale Romans and Giant Game. Recently came off a layoff to run second in this pretty strong field. Allowance optional claimer going a mile and a 16th, November 4th at Churchill Downs. Now he typically likes to get the lead from what I've watched him normally. But due to the fact that Confidence Game got out to the lead, he just decided to sit next to him. That was Confidence Game ran 10th in the Kentucky Derby, FYI. Giant Game was the 5-2 favorite, pressed this leader the right way, took the lead around the turn for home. The jockey's looking back like he's got this one in the bag, but here comes Gasoline, got plenty of it in the tank, kicked clear by 5 1/4 and practically run right by him in the stretch. But I think it was a good first off layoff effort type race, and I think he'll be in pretty decent shape to compete. It is a quick turnaround, like I said. The race is this Friday. So speaking of Gasoline, that's Todd Pletcher's horse who just won that race we watched, and he's taken a back-to-back winning streak into this race. He's son of Curlin, and but no stakes experience. So this is going to be a jump in class. But after that huge effort we just watched, I think we could see the logic in it. So I won't be dismissing that on just the lack of class. So that 112 speed figure, however, was huge, and wheeling back in 3 weeks might make him eligible for a bounce. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. Now, next up, we've got Antonio Sono, who trains Il Miracolo. This is a gun runner progeny. Very busy career as I started looking down through the stats. 15 starts and only 3 years old. Racing at least once in every month, going all the way back to September 2022. But he's been basically an ATM machine hitting the board. Now, next up, Vicky Oliver's 4-year-old Trademark is also running this week. He ran in the Fayette as well, but did not fare well at all. Was mid-pack along with Il Miracolo, but gave away to finish 7th by a whopping 13 lengths. On the replay, it's the number 10 horse in those blue and white checkered silks, and he was out of it by the 3/4 pole. So I don't know. It almost looks like a race you could toss out. Maybe it just wasn't his day. Didn't feel like running. Who knows with horses sometimes. So, but the rest of the races look really solid. I mean, every race going all the way back to a stakes win at Horseshoe in Indy. So anyway, it was also not Happy Americans Day in that same race. Neil Pesson trained 5-year-old, sired by Run Happy, finished DFL. So much the same as Trademark, he flattened out down the stretch and chose the better part of Valor. So I'd be a little more skeptical of this one than I would Trademark. Trademark's got a much better track record, so I could see the bounce back much easier that way. Next up, we're going to be looking at Straight Arrow, and that's trained by Michael Denny and been running well of late, back-to-back wins, including his first taste of stakes victory in the Empire Classic on October 29th at Belmont at the Big A. It was a pretty impressive stalking effort from this Big Gray, breaking from the far outside the number 10 horse, closed ground into the turn, and by the time they hit the stretch, he had taken command, and from there, it was just easy street down the stretch to the victory on the sloppy sealed track. I think this one is definitely one I'll keep an eye out on the tote board. Maybe we'll get that Black Friday deal after all. Film Star, trained by Linda Rice. This one went 9 straight races, finishing first or second until this 4th place finish in the grade 2 49er at Belmont at the Big A on October 28th. Now, he dialed it back to a mile on that race, but was unable to close any ground in the stretch, unlike this previous effort that I want to show you at the same venue going back to October 1st. This one is going 1 1/8 in a grade 2 Woodward. Pressed the leader through a pretty swift opening half mile of 46.66. And then when called upon, he took the lead at the quarter pole, led under a drive, but was run down by a very eager Zandon. And we all know Zandon's history, good horse. So no really big deal there. I think that's a solid effort from him. Next up, Sherry DeVoe, training the 5-year-old Stage Raider. This one recently took on the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, the one we all saw Cody's Wish get it done in, but was no factor in that race. Finished 6th, actually just behind Zozos, who he went after in the previous race I'm showing you now, the Ack Stakes on September 30th at Churchill Downs. So I've shown this race in previous videos leading up, probably the one leading up to the Breeders' Cup Mile. Zozos going wire to wire in this one. But I got a different view through the eyes of Stage Raider this time around, stalking the pace in 3rd most of the way, shifted 3 wide into the stretch. He did give a pretty decent drive, but he just wasn't able to close much ground on the winner. But he did, however, hold off a late surge by another pretty quality horse, 3 Technique. That'll bring us to the last horse. And it's not really any reason. It just kind of worked out this way, but it's Blue Devil. And me being a Kentucky Wildcat, I can't condone betting this Duke Blue Devil. No, I'm kidding. Actually, the further I looked at it, it's actually a pretty solid horse. Jeff Hiles gelding looked pretty good, finishing 3rd on the inside rail here at this grade 2 Lucas Classic at Churchill Downs back on September 30th. And so anyway, I had to plow through that one because I was short on time. But that'll do it for the preview show. I'll be back later in the week for a Clark Handicap betting strategy. So set the notifications and be on the lookout. Till then, see you soon. Thanks for watching.